All right, so here we are with the second interview on Handball Access. I have one of my good friends right now, top player in the game.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Be easy, be easy. You said good friend.
I mean, we not friends.
I'm just saying.
We're
People don't
friends
need to
before
know that.
anything else.
They don't need to know that. But
Okay,
go ahead, go
okay.
ahead.
A colleague.
Continue
He's
with
a
the
colleague, right? Is he's my
colleague. Yes.
athlete. This is
Mm-hmm.
Carlin Rosa. We're
Yes,
gonna
sir.
talk about his current accolades later on, but first, Carlin, I want you to introduce yourself and then talk about what you got on your shirt, the whole Castle Hill sponsorship.
So as you said, my name is Carlin Rosa. Handball player from the Bronx. Been playing handball for a few years. I don't even want to say how many years because it's been a lot of years. But the shirt that I'm wearing, the brand, the sponsorship, the family is Castle Hill, Team Castle Hill. And the leader of Team Castle Hill is Richie Vera. You know, everybody knows Richie Vera. A big handball supporter. He donates. He does a lot of things for the kids. Even though it's been a few years that he hasn't done one of those kids tournaments, obviously he has his own life, so a lot of things start coming up. But everybody knows Richie Vera, and I'm just basically one of the athletes from Team Castle Hill.
Now, you're not just an athlete, you are El Capitón,
I
correct?
mean, listen. That's a title. That is a title. I currently do have that title, but I look at myself and all the other players in Team Castle Hills as equal. Like, you know what I
Mm,
mean? Like
mm.
we all can be captain depending on the situation. You know what I mean? It's just that I kind of take that role upon myself just because I have a close relationship with Richie. Um, and he trusts me, and I basically he gives me information and I give it to the guys, and I try to, aside from giving them information, I try to lead them by example. So essentially, I mean, it kind of sounds a little bit bad, but I kind of want the guys in the team to kind of handle themselves on the court kind of the way I do.
Absolutely. Now, how long have you been part of Team Castle Hill?
So I've been Team Castle Hill for about this will be year number two. So Richie started the actual Team Castle Hill last year. But prior to that, Richie would sponsor guys for events. And this was something that was going on for a few years. He sponsored me before for a particular event, whether it be the King of the Court, whether it be the Buddha, whether it be the Nationals, whatever tournament. He has sponsored me before. He sponsored my son Josh before. I know he sponsored Allen before, and there's other players that he sponsored before. Even guys who are not from Castle Hill, guys from Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan. It didn't matter. Richie has been one of those guys. We have several people in the community. I mean, I don't know if they want me to basically give out their name because what happens too with sponsorship is that um, people think that a way to get sponsorship is to ask for a sponsorship, and typically, that's not the way to do it. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but that's not the way you get a sponsorship. And a lot of guys that I try to talk to, younger guys, and like even my son, I like to give him a lot of information. I tell them that in order for you to get a sponsorship, whether it be Richie, whether it be Impact, whether it be, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to give other people's name because other people don't necessarily have a brand, but they'll sponsor players. So I'd rather, if they want to sponsor somebody, they'll reach out to them. I don't want to give out the names because then, like I said before, people will try to like jump in the DMs and be like, "Yo, sponsor me for this, sponsor me for that." So I don't want to bring that type of activity to them. But essentially, the way you get a sponsorship is you conduct yourself the proper way, you show good sportsmanship, um, and you don't necessarily have to be the best player or one of the best players. Throughout my whole handball career, if you can call it a career, I've always had people come up to me and either give me merchandise or pay for a particular tournament. That's always happened to me. It was only probably about 2016 that Impact, which is Izzy and Melissa, sponsored me. Like I was basically an Impact athlete at that point. But prior to that, and even after that sponsorship ended, which lasted 2 years, I've had people come up to me and say, "Hey, I know that you want to play in this tournament. I'm going to sponsor you for this tournament." And again, I've never been the number one player. I, I at times I haven't even been a top five guy, and I still was able to get those sponsorship just because people see the type of player that I am, the fact that I give it my all, and the fact that I for the most part I take my losses well, and I don't disrespect my opponents. I don't disrespect uh the tournaments. I don't disrespect pretty much anybody. You
Anybody,
know,
correct.
anybody. Yeah.
When when you say your team Castle Hill, what does that
Mm-hmm.
come with? Right? Merchandise, tournament fees, like what does it entail?
So being in Team Castle Hill, basically, and every sponsorship is different. Team Castle Hill is different from Team Impact and different from Team Killshot, which is a new sponsorship that's floating around. And so with Team Castle Hill, what Richie does for his guys, for his athletes, is he provides them with shirts. Usually, again, this is the second year, so I'll tell you what happened the first year. So he would provide us with shirts. For the team, for the East Coast Battle, he provided us with shirts, shorts, a warm-up suit, and some shoes. And that was for the East Coast Battle. And then for the summer, he provided us with shirts and shoes, and he paid for basically all our tournament fees.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And
Yeah,
lastly,
yeah.
about TCH, right? That's the acronym
Hmm.
we use,
Yes,
TCH.
yes, sir.
Who is Team Castle Hill for 2024?
So for 2024, we have obviously me. You see the shirt, always representing. You have David Velez, the favorite. You have Manny Caraballo, and you have Joshua, my son. Oh, and Mikey Mendoza.
And Mikey. Mikey's coming,
Yeah, I
making
kind of
them.
forgot about him because
Mhm.
he hasn't been around as much. But yeah, it's basically those are the guys.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. And now you mentioned your son. So
Mm-hmm.
here's a question that I think everybody in the handball community
Mm-hmm.
wants to ask, and they're very
You
curious, is
really?
how do you balance your work, family, and handball life?
Um, that's a good question. Um, and to be honest with you, a lot of the balancing comes from my wife, my wife Lena. So she allows me to have the freedom to play handball when I play and go to the tournaments that I go to. But like I have a job or I have a career. I have a family. I play handball, and I actually just got a second job that I'm doing on the side. Don't want to get into details of what exactly that is, but I have a second job, so I have even less time to play handball. But again, a lot of the credit goes to my wife because when it
Shout out to
comes
your
to the
wife.
yes, absolutely. She when it comes to the kids and stuff that needs to happen with the kids, she's usually coordinating it. And we I'm there. I'm there when I need to be there. But when she knows that a big tournament is coming up, she gives me the freedom to participate in those tournaments.
And your family also comes and supports sometimes too, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, my family supports 99% of the time. Like my wife loves to watch me play. She actually used to play when she was younger. So she has a respect for the game. She likes the game. And my kids, they love to see me play and they love to see me win. They don't like seeing me losing because I get kind of depressed and stuff like that. And but they love to come watch me win.
I wish my wife wanted to come watch me play.
A lot of wives don't. A lot of wives don't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Tournaments are extremely exhausting for players, but even just as exhausting for the spectators or family members that come watch their family member play, because especially if you're not into the game, it's like, man, this is like an all day affair. So,
Yeah.
I shout out to all the wives, girlfriends, brothers, mothers, everybody who comes out to watch and spend the whole day to watch their handball player family play and perform.
Shout out to the women, man. We love the women.
Yes, of course,
We
of
love the
course.
women, man. So,
Yeah, yeah.
you talked about it's hard to kind of be at a tournament all day, but your family does love
Hmm.
to watch you win.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Um, so this is an on the fly question.
Yes,
How
sir.
many tournaments do you think you've won? And I want you to
Wow.
start. I mean, did you participate in C tournaments?
So I'll be honest with you. I don't know what that number is. I don't know what that number. I know it's a lot less than Timbo, but I don't know what that number is.
Timbo got a
So
lot. Timbo sent me. It was like I just kept scrolling when he sent it.
Timbo has
Um,
like 300 tournament wins. Like, it's insane.
yeah.
It's insane. It's insane. But for me, um, I'll be honest with you. From the beginning of me actually playing handball. So let's go a little bit back, and I'll try to rush through my journey in handball as quickly as I can, because I don't want to bore you or anybody else who would be watching this. But I started playing handball when I was probably about 14 years old, and I played in the summer and I played here and there, whatever. Always loved the game, because as every handball player knows, it's addicting. So I was playing when I was like 14 or some shit like that, and I played for a few years, took some time off, like Paulie took some time off, and when I was probably like 10 years after I started playing, so I had been playing on and off for about 10 years. I was playing at my local park, and this guy named Shorty told me, like, yo, we should go to Castle Hill. There's guys that are good over there. They play for money. There's tournaments. And I'm like, tournament? I was like, what the hell? This doesn't make no sense. But I ended up going to Castle Hill, and not that I didn't like handball already. Like, obviously I liked handball because I was playing it for so long. But it was just like a new level of love for the game, and just for trying to get better. Like, I fell in love with trying to get better. Like, I'm watching these guys play at Castle Hill, and I'm like, damn, these guys are nasty. Like, I want to be like that. I want to beat these guys. So I took a lot of beatings for a lot of years before I actually started getting good. So to go back to your question about C players, and I mean C tournaments, um, I could have played as a C those 10 years that I was playing, like, here and there. Probably would not won, but I could have played at that time. But by the time I went to Castle Hill, I think I might have played in one C tournament, and I played with this guy Shorty. I lost to PlayStation and this kid named Skateboard Mike, who he comes around every once in a while, but he doesn't play handball anymore. But back then, they were probably like, I don't know, they were probably like 16, 17, 18, around there. And I was already like 23, 22, 23, something like 24. And they beat the shit out of me. They beat the shit out of me. PlayStation was just super smart on the court, had a natural swinging left. This other kid, Mike, used to power the ball. And back then, I would whip the ball so hard that percent of my shots were going all over the place. I would serve the ball out. Like, it was terrible. It was terrible. I just wasn't that good to begin with. And then on top of not being that good, I didn't have the experience. These guys were playing in junior tournaments since God knows how long. And
Yeah.
I was like a new player to the money scene, to the money games, to tournaments. So I had no experience. It could have been nerves cracking, whatever you want to call it, but just I didn't have the experience. So as a C player, I played that tournament. I lost. I kept playing, and then I started playing in B tournaments and having some success in B tournaments. And so I didn't win. I never won any C tournaments.
Okay. How many
Yeah.
Bs you think you won? You played
So
with
as
Pistol Pete, right?
Yeah, so I played with this guy named Pistol Pete. A lot of the guys from the Bronx know who Pistol Pete is. A lot of guys that were playing in the B division, like maybe like 2010, they know who he was. He was a little older. He was like late 30s. Um, been playing handball for a long time, tournaments, and never had any success until he teamed up with a real one. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
And
mm,
then,
mm,
you know what I'm saying? That
mm,
then the rest is history. So
mm-hmm,
me and him
mm-hmm.
ended up me and him ended up winning. I want to say probably about six tournaments. I'm gonna
Okay.
say around six.
Did you
Let's say.
win any ABs as a B player?
No,
No.
no, I did not.
Okay,
I
so
did
now
not.
let's jump. Go ahead.
Hold on. There weren't as many ABs as they are now. Remember, even now, if you look at how many ABs you have in a season, what's the number? Like four?
Mm-hmm.
Like three or four?
Yeah.
And back then you had Rookie, you had Timbo, you had Gio, you had Pee Wee, Willie, Little Eddie, all these monsters that were playing in ABs and winning. And, I just, I couldn't compete with those guys.
Oh, I respect it. But now you're an A.
Mm.
Now you got your A card. You're
Yeah.
in the open division. Let's
Yes,
talk
sir.
about your open wins, right? What was your
Mm.
first open win?
I think my first open win was with my boy Puchando. Um, and wait, before that open win, there was a tournament that Henry threw at the old Gus spot, and it was a tournament. It wasn't an open tournament; it was an A tournament. So some of the A players, top A players, weren't allowed to play. So basically, all the top A players couldn't play, but every A player could play. Um, and me and Pete beat uh Allen and Little J. I don't know if you know Little J, but the Hammer community knows Little J. He was good
I
back
know
then.
Little J.
You know Little J. Yeah. So we beat them in the finals, and there was a bounty for them. I think it might have been like $200. Because they had won the previous tournament. So that was my first tournament
So you
versus
won
A
in
players.
opens with Pete. But did
No,
Pete
no,
ever
wait.
get his A?
It wasn't an open. Remember, I said the top A's couldn't play. So it was an A tournament.
An A tournament? But
Right.
was Allen and Little J A players at the time?
They were, yeah. And there was a
But
tournament.
it was Pete an A player?
Pete had gotten his A card a year after I did. Even
Okay.
though, so I don't remember if he was an A player or if he was still a B player. Man, that might be my first AB win right there. That might be my first AB win right there. Yeah.
So let's go through it quick, right? Let's go through it quick. How many tournaments do you think you won with Pooch?
With Pooch, um, I got like 72 second place with Pooch. That's I'm gonna say that. And then with him, I probably won somewhere around like 4 or 5 tournaments, maybe even 6.
Okay, so we'll say five. How many with Davo?
Davo, I think I won 3 tournaments with Davo.
Okay, how many with Taiwan?
With Taiwan, I won probably the same amount, probably like 5 or 6. I would say 6. I would say
Okay, so
6.
now we're at six. Okay, so now we're at 14, right? So now we're
Right.
at 14. This
Mm-hmm.
is opens. How
Oh,
many
open.
with Allen?
Whoa, slow down. I won one with Iggy. Add that one on there.
Iggy, 15.
Right.
How many with Allen?
So I won a memorial tournament with Allen. It was free, but it was an open, and I won it with him.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to count that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I
16.
won the Buddha. I won the Buddha with Allen.
Two with Allen. How many with Iron Man James?
Oh shit, Iron Man James. Yeah.
Come on, baby.
I won.
You know the stats.
Yo, I did win the indoor tournament with him. I did win a lot of ABs with James. I probably got,
Just opens. You won the Zariga one, I know for sure.
yeah, I think that might have been the only one I won with James, yeah.
Did you
And
win
probably
any
the only
with?
one I played with him.
You just won one with Josh Garcia.
Correct.
How many with Mikey?
Mendoza. I think I won. Let me see, two or three,
So
two or three.
you're 20 plus, 20
Yeah, 20
plus
plus.
opens.
I think that's a number, 20 plus in
20
the
plus, you're
open.
20 plus, and that's
Yeah.
no ABs. We're not counting ABs, just open. Because you won with
Yeah.
Mickey, you won with your son.
Yeah.
You know, you have a couple ABs also, right?
I
So
won
you're
with Bordy. I won with Lowe's, the Crip.
dang.
That's my dude, the Crip right there. You
Well,
know what I'm saying? He's a little upset at me right now, but it's all good.
We'll talk about Los with this next question, right? So,
Hmm.
no, in a few questions, right?
Hmm.
But I want to talk about first. I want you to be honest. What what disappoints you with handball right now?
What disappoints me with handball are several things.
Turn your light on.
No,
Good.
good.
Yeah.
The first thing that disappoints me with handball is that it's not bigger than what it is. I feel that handball is just as entertaining and as any other sport, and is just as difficult to play as any other sport. And I feel that it still hasn't gotten the chance to go mainstream, but that's one of the main things that I'm disappointed about handball. As far as the things within handball that disappoint me, I think what disappoints me is a lot of the players' entitlement, um, feeling that they deserve something without putting in the work, or like guys go to tournaments and they're expecting perfection from a tournament. Meanwhile, they don't behave in a perfect way within the tournament. They'll show up late. Um, they'll disrespect the refs. They'll disrespect the players. They'll disrespect each other. There's a lot of different things that I can say about the refs. There's also disappointment within the tournament hosts. Sometimes some tournament hosts don't necessarily do the right thing. So we're all degree, as far as where the state of handball is right now. So I would say those are the main three things that disappoint me about handball.
Talking about tournament host, we're going to talk
Hmm.
about this real quick.
Hmm.
How do you feel about certain hosts throwing? I'm not going to put a number, but just like what is too many events for someone to throw? Like, how do you feel about that? There are some hosts out there that I feel like every week, every other week, they're throwing a new event. And
Hmm.
I get that like the tournament wins are super important, but when you
Hmm.
are constantly throwing events, you've kind of devalue a tournament win. What do you feel about that? Especially as an open player, since you
Hmm.
only have three open doubles that happen in a year.
Hmm. Right. I feel that I'm torn about how I feel about this question, because my initial feeling about it was it's too many tournaments. There are way too many B tournaments, too many NWA tournaments. There's just too many. It doesn't give the players any time to develop their skill, find a good partner, or whatever it is. It doesn't allow a player time, or even it doesn't give the player anything to look forward to, because there's so many tournaments every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That was my initial feeling about it. But then as I think about it, you also need tournaments because a lot of the current A players come from that tournament program. You know what I mean? Like these B, low B, high B, these C tournaments, these NWA tournaments. A lot of guys who don't believe in their game and don't believe that they can compete with the open players start up through these tournaments, and little by little they start developing their skill. They start getting confident. They start playing against better players, and they start developing it. And eventually, they become solid B players or top B players and even A players.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's a need for these type of tournaments. I don't know how many tournaments is is a good amount and how many is too many. Um, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you, but I feel torn about that question.
Okay, okay. We got a special
Hmm.
guest. My
Hmm.
man Buddha Carlos, suave,
Mm.
suave,
That's my man. That's my man.
rocking the
What
Camel
up?
Classic on his
Campbell
iPhone
Classic,
3C.
my man Cat.
Oh, what's up? What's up, Los? How you feeling?
Good, good, good. What are we
That's good
talking
to
about
hear.
here?
Carlos, yeah, we're
Wait,
mid
before
interview. Go ahead.
Hmm.
before we continue this interview, does everyone out there know that Carlin and Josh are the USHA current national champions?
You see what I'm
Big
saying?
ball.
I
This is
mean,
what I'm saying. Everybody was wrong about Carlos. Yo, you support those that support you. That's what I love about you, bro. You support that. I support
we
that.
Cool.
Thank you.
we just went over most of his
Hmm.
wins. And Carlos,
Hmm.
I had asked you to join for the next few
Hmm.
questions because you could kind of chime in
Okay.
and ask your version of the question. But the next one is for Colleen. How do you feel about the USHA rulebook? Right. And what I
Hmm.
want you to talk about is the stigma against it. Currently, a lot of big blue players say that the rule book is a small ball rule book. And no matter how many times we tell them it's not, it's just, I guess it's from the old school mentality that's been brought down, like it's been channeled down to the new era, and
Hmm.
everyone's following the same script. So how do you feel about the rule book?
You asking me or you asking Carlos?
I'm asking you, Colleen, the national
Okay.
champ.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. So, the way I feel about it, I think that I think using the USHA rulebook is the best thing for handball because it creates structure for tournaments. There's no question as to what kind of rules we're using because the rules are there. The problem that we run into is that everyone is so used to playing quote unquote street rules. Now, the problem with street rules is that there's so many versions of that in certain tournaments. There's things, any rule that you can talk about, every tournament host has a different interpretation of it. But if you use the USHA rulebook, everything is there. Everything is there. So I wish that more players were open to it. I know it's an adjustment. You know, there's a lot of rules in USHA that we don't use in pickup games and we don't use in like pot tournaments where the block call, the bad blocks, the skip ball, the staying out or making a call and stuff like that. So a lot of people don't like those rules because they they don't use them in regular tournaments and they don't use them in pickup tournaments. So it's frustrating as a player. You're used to playing a certain way for so long, and now you go to this one tournament once a year, and now you're forced to play under the USHA rules. So it gets a lot of pushback from players because of that. But at the end of the day, I'd rather play with those rules because at least that I know what I'm getting myself into. I know what kind of rules we're following, and there's no deviation from that. But in a pot tournament, there's so many things that can change, and even within the refs, a lot of the rules are up to the interpretation. There's a lot of judgment call, and every ref sees things a different way. It's like a umpire in baseball. They all have different strike zone. So it's the same thing in handball. Like what one ref might think is a block, another one might not think is a block. What one ref might
Man,
think is avoidable, another ref might not think is avoidable. So a lot of the players get extremely frustrated with that. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how we can fix that.
How do you feel,
That's how I
Carlos?
feel about it.
I like that baseball analogy, Carlin. I mean, could have
Who would have
sworn I
thought?
heard it somewhere. Could have sworn I heard
Yeah.
it somewhere before.
I don't know what
I
you're talking about.
wonder,
I
I
don't know what
wonder,
you're talking about.
I wonder who told you that. But yeah, every umpire has different strike zone. It's an adjustment period. Um, People sometimes see things differently, but as long as it's always in in the, they're calling it to the best of their knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny that you touch up on like different parks and stuff like that, because the last time I went to Castle Hill with
Mm-hmm.
Justin,
Mm-hmm.
I found out that at Castle Hill they play that it doesn't matter if the ball's going sideways, if it hits the
Yeah.
player, it's a do-over.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah, hit my foot
that
a
is
couple times.
insane.
Remember
But yeah,
that?
every park has
Yeah.
their, yeah. Like this off the ground. And they were like blocks. I was like, what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, park rules, we all had different park rules. We all had different park rules. And it's a hindrance, right? Because people get used to that, and then they go to a tournament and they're like, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Like I hit the ball and it hit Carlin on the fly. I don't care if Carlin is behind me, right? The ball
Mm-hmm.
was going the opposite way of the wall. They're like, that
Mm-hmm.
should be a block. And no, it's not. So
Mm-hmm.
park rules do not do these tournaments any favors, and
Mm-hmm.
then neither do other hosts that just decide to do their own variation of rules as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate, but we can't all be unified. I
Yeah.
like the rules. I'm a rule
Mm-hmm.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes even when people feel like the ref made a mistake and you pull out the rule book and you read it to them,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they don't even understand it. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you have to like literally break it down to them sometimes for
Mm-hmm.
certain players to even understand certain what Larry does at times, where he tells the players, listen, we're in the middle of a game. It's not my job to teach you the rules. You should
Right.
Yep.
have known the rules before you got
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Like the best I can do is maybe during a timeout explain something to you, but in the middle of a
Mm-hmm.
game, I'm not here to explain the rules to you. I'm just here to
That's right.
enforce them and make sure the game goes according to plan.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Now the Buddha does follow USHA rules, correct?
Yes, and this year I'll be making sure as well that we do the if you call it a block, it's a short.
Good.
Because sometimes, what happens with that rule is with the Buddha, it's a little harder because there's so many teams, right? Um, so there's so many games going on across the board, and sometimes the refs themselves aren't aware of that rule, or they get a little confused. Then they feel like every block is a short, and it's not. Like if you hit a player in the back, it's not his fault, right? He didn't
Mm-hmm.
cause the block. You just hit him
Mm-hmm.
in the back. So but we will be having a meeting with as many refs as possible, which is another issue in itself. That because getting refs these days
Yeah.
is almost an impossible task.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
no,
mean,
I hear you. Oh, it flipped on
mm-hmm.
me. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, speaking of the Buddha and the rules, Colleen, here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I know the answer. But what is your favorite tournament win?
Yeah, man.
Mine wasn't. No, that was Carlin. That was for Carlin.
So I have several favorite tournament
Don't
wins
do that.
for
Don't do
different
that.
reasons.
Don't
I
do
have.
that.
I can't give you more than one.
Don't be
I can't give you.
PC. Don't be PC.
Yeah.
No.
Come on.
Listen. I have two favorite tournament wins. One of them being the Buddha, because as a handball player,
Because I'm here.
because Carlos is here, and if I don't say this, he might, you know what I'm saying.
Tell
But
them to
anyway,
stop calling you.
yeah, I know. So the Buddha will be one of them, because as a handball player, winning the Buddha like that, it doesn't get any better than that. The Buddha winning a major tournament is always going to feel special for a handball player, and Buddha is one of those tournaments. Buddha is up there with the king of the court. Like as a singles player, if you can say you won king of the court, like that's an accomplishment. So for us guys who focus a lot on doubles, that would be a very special tournament to win. But the other tournament that is one of my favorite tournaments that I won was the one in Philly. Do you know why, Justin?
Of course I know why.
Okay. That's because I won with my son. That was the first
Your
tournament.
first. Yep.
AB with my son. Joshua. Yeah. So that one is a special win for me.
Yep. That one, that was like a random. Adam was like, I want to throw money at a tournament and do something
Yeah.
with Sam.
Yeah.
And we did it. I feel like we did it within a week. Did pre-registration,
Mm,
registration. Carlos
yeah.
had a blowout on the way there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I ended
Damn.
up. I remember that day because Duck Sam said, "I'm gonna run the tournament," and my man came out with a piece of cardboard from the garbage to put the bracket on. And
Damn.
I was like, "Yo, just go away." I'm like, I'll take care of this. And I assisted with running that tournament.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That was a good stuff. Huh?
that was your first win with Joshua.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
actually, you know what? The 2024 Nationals was also a special win
see,
for a different reason, but a lot of people, you know what I'm saying?
I
There's
see.
some history behind that.
I thought you were gonna go Tom Brady and say
Mm,
my favorite win is my next one.
damn, I missed my opportunity. I fucked up.
Yeah. I
That's
There
all
might
thought
right.
not
that.
be a next one. There might
Oh,
not
Yeah.
be a next one. You never
Yo,
know.
listen.
You know,
No, listen.
somebody once said that wins in the opens, is few and far in between. So
That is the most realest thing ever. People don't understand how difficult it is to win a game in the open division, let alone make the finals, let alone win a tournament. Earlier, you asked me how many tournaments I won in the opens, and we what was the number we arrived at? Like over
20
20,
plus.
basically.
Yeah.
20 plus. If you ask me how many tournaments I placed, it's probably like 50 plus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because winning in the opens is just that much difficult than any other division. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's,
I
it's,
hear
it's just
you.
difficult.
So I want you to tell us who is your favorite partner you ever won with. I want someone you won with, right? And I want you
yeah,
to base it on their peaks because not everybody you won with is at their current that state anymore. So based on their peaks when you played with them, who was your favorite partner?
Again, see, you're asking me questions and I'm gonna have two answers for.
Oh my God, don't do that.
Obviously,
Don't do that.
my son,
Uh-huh.
my
well, let's do
favorite fun.
top three,
Okay,
right?
okay. I would say Chando, Pooch was probably my favorite partner because we played together for so long and we developed as A players. We got our A cards. He used to play with Armando. I used to play with Pete. Armando became a racquetball player. Pete, life, whatever. He stopped playing. So me
He
and
took a helicopter.
Puchando, I don't know what that means, but let's just.
Isn't that Armando Helicopter Ayala?
Oh yes. I thought you were talking about Pete. I was like, don't disrespect my man like that. But
No,
I didn't want to do it on film.
Armando.
Yeah, Armando, the helicopter guy. Yeah. So Pete stopped playing. So me and Pooch actually used to battle against each other in the Bs. Some of my tournament losses were to Puchando and Taiwan and Tavo and a few of the other guys that are now A players. But when Armando stopped playing and Pete stopped playing, I ended up playing with Pooch. So as B players, new A players, we started developing our games together, and we had some really good chemistry. And I don't know, we just felt comfortable playing together. And I think we played probably about maybe like 4 or 6 years, something like that. 4 to 6 years, something like that. And yeah, so he was definitely my favorite partner.
That's pretty cool.
And
Who's
then
three?
That's pretty cool to
yeah,
hear.
huh?
Who's number three?
I'm just gonna say those two. That's it. I only got two.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mhm.
How about this? How about this?
No, listen,
Your
listen.
your
Let me
top.
go back. Let me go back. I've every partner that I've ever won with, I've had great chemistry with, and even if it wasn't chemistry that we developed previously, it just when the game got on, it just worked. I played with Iggy, never played money games with Iggy ever. Teamed up in that tournament last minute, and it just worked. It just worked that day. You know what I mean?
My
And
man, Steady Freddy Cemetery, right?
that's
Yeah,
right.
that was the
That's right.
buyback.
Whoa,
See, I don't, I don't, I
whoa,
don't even know why you gotta
What?
bring
whoa,
that.
whoa,
Why you
whoa,
gotta
whoa.
bring that into the equation? Nobody
My
asked about
man,
that.
my man,
Wow.
BB Chris um said you promised him a tournament and you were like, all right, we'll do it here. And then you guys lost the first round, and you were like,
Yes.
I can't let this slide like this. So then you
Yeah.
bought back with the fridge.
Yeah.
And
Well, I don't know that he
that
bought back in.
that
I
was
think the
Tall
fridge had a
Justin.
spot.
That was Tall Justin's comeback tournament, and you beat Los
Yeah.
and Justin in the finals.
Correct.
What
And
happened
like
there, if I
Carlos
remember,
said,
the fridge had a spot.
correct.
And
He didn't have a
asked
partner.
Carlin, because I
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah. Yeah. Justin, I
So,
don't know what the is about. Like, what are you trying
But
to?
how
but
about
You're
like
trying to say
top
something.
three? How about top three opponents that um not necessarily even beat you a lot, but just give you a really hard time? It's
so
not
before you
always,
answer
sometimes
that,
it's a park guy. Yeah, go ahead.
Carlos, it's funny you see this is why we're here, because
Mm.
the next question
What
was,
about me? I'm not there. It's
well,
just
no,
you
you're
two
not
there.
there. No,
Okay,
you could have been there as number 4, but
but I
you didn't want
wasn't.
to be there.
Ooh, we got to talk about that. That's a good question.
But yeah, that was the next question. Who do you hate playing against the most? So you basically asked it the same way. So yeah, who's your top 3, like Carlos asked, that give you a hard time?
Um, are we talking about currently, or are we talking about just like
No, just all time. Just all time. Like guys that
so
you
my
it could
the
even be a no-name
okay,
guy. Just
I got you. I got you. I got you. The 3 guys that I hated um to play the most was Timbo, and Timbo.
wow, you went
I used to lose.
easy way
I
out.
bro, earlier I said I had like 72 second place, and the reason was Timbo. So I hate his guts. But yeah, Timbo was tough. Timbo was tough, and I used to
Did you
hate playing
ever
him.
win a tournament with Timbo?
I never played a tournament with Timbo. Never played a tournament
Interesting.
with Timbo. I wasn't good
Interesting.
enough, so you know what I'm saying. That's what it is.
Mm.
Okay,
Are you
okay,
good
What it
okay.
is.
enough now?
I don't know. You got to ask him that. I don't know.
Well, let's ask let's talk about your current success,
Wait,
right?
hold on. Wait. Don't bypass the question, because this is something that I really wanted to address.
Tell me.
Which is the question about when you were going online talking about I was a number 4 member of the committee. Remember that?
I thought you wanted to be number 4, numero
No,
cuatro.
no, I didn't. You wanted me to be number 4, and I said absolutely not. And you thought it was a joke, and you was writing it everywhere and telling people. And then you went on this campaign to tarnish my name, saying that I did not want to be number 4 for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason you was giving, but the real reason, or the valid reason why I feel like me or any player should not be a member of the committee is because as a player you're active, and things within the game and within tournaments happen, whether it's seeding, whether it's calls, whether it's extended
Winning
times to
MVPs?
show. See, I don't understand what type of time Carlos is on, but we're trying to keep it positive
Carlos,
right
I'm
now.
just no, I'm saying you're 100% right, right?
We're
Like
saying the same thing,
let's
basically.
say right,
Saying
we're
the same
saying
thing.
the same thing.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
100% correct. If you're in the committee, let's say, and then you perform really well, but you don't win a tournament, then it's like people say, well, he awarded himself the MVP. So
Correct.
I understand what you're saying.
So that's why I didn't want to accept the job, because I was going to be put under that.
The
You know what I
job, like we
mean?
get paid.
Yeah, it's a thankless job. You know what I'm saying? But
Listen, man,
yeah, yeah.
the people wanted you. Chris Show
The
was
people,
campaigning for
Chris
you to
Show,
be number 4.
that's my boy though. The word to mommy. That's why. But it wasn't.
Listen,
Mhm.
Chris Show's my
I
boy, but
think
he's not getting his $5.
no, $5 is gone. I think that I get what you're saying.
But listen, that's true not only about me. That's true about anybody. Like, I think the community, or even just the open players, would have a problem if I was in the committee, or Alan, or Tavo, or Gio, or Timbo, or Taiwan, or Los, or Edwin. They would have a problem with that, because they would feel. First of all, people already feel like there's favoritism within the game. Can you imagine someone being behind the scenes making decisions? Like, they're gonna jump all over that. And I did not want to be put in that position to be, labeled. Well,
you bring up a great and interesting topic. So the committee is made up of 3 people,
mm-hmm.
2 of which are current players. So are you saying that neither one of those current players have an opportunity to advance to a tournament and win, or
I know
possibly
he keeps
garner
saying
an
like
MVP?
players can't be like what am I? I perform.
In the
I'm not.
junior C division, yes.
Listen,
Have
I'm a
you
coach. I'm a coach before
I'll have
anything
you
else.
know that Justin is an MVP
Most valuable
What? Don't
player.
do that.
Player.
You see? You see what I'm saying?
performer.
The disrespect, man. Listen,
Yes, sir.
I wanted to go into my coaching skills and our recent success, but this interview is pushing an hour right now. So we're going to bypass that question for the most part. But I want to hear your
Congrats to the
closing.
coach. Congrats to the coach.
Thank you. You know, it's not easy, 2-time national champ this weekend in the open doubles and the B doubles.
Right.
I'm proud. I'm proud of my team.
You do what you do, and you do it.
I just do it, man. I just do it. And you know what? People don't believe it, but I know deep down, all jokes aside, I do feel like I do help when help is asked for, right? People reach out to me and they're like, hey, do you have advice? I try to give the best advice that I can give.
So people are reaching out.
Yeah, people reach out. And I
hope they don't get a reaching foul.
No. I always give them the recipe for success. And it's up to them to take that recipe and make some
and when they follow it, you've bred champions.
That's just what I do, man.
I mean, that's just a stat.
Teams. I put together teams, Carlos, better than anybody that you could think of.
Damn.
I'm going to ask you who put together the Nationals team, but first, my missus, who's Dominican, said congrats to the first Dominican-born USHA champion.
Gracias.
Wait. The first Dominican-born? You were born back home?
Oh, I'm Dominican before anything. What do you?
I didn't
¿Qué
know
te
that.
pasa, manito? ¿Qué te pasa?
No, that. Oh.
Ya tú sabes.
Okay. So listen.
We about to who put this team together? Who put this team together?
Who put the team together?
Nationals.
But the people don't know. The people don't know. You did that?
I
thought the reason this team came together is because we were both hurt. I was hurt. Josh is hurt. So we didn't want to hold back our partners. You know what I mean? Like and allow them to team up with someone who's fully healthy. So me and Josh.
You know that I know that I was the mastermind.
Justin has been lobbying. Justin has been lobbying for this partnership for a while now. I'll just say
that. He has. He's been behind the scenes.
Like for real, lobbying hard for a while now. Years, maybe.
I didn't want to bring it up, but the year Timbo and Los won the Buddha, that was me.
That was you.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly when. Handball United threw their first doubles in 4th and 4th, and Los was the ref. I don't know if Los will ever give me these props.
He's not going to give you his props.
When that tournament, that was the year that he was losing with Kadeem in everything. And we were talking at 4th and 4th after the tournament, and I'm like, he was like, I don't know what to do because like we just keep losing. I said, I know what to do. Play with Timbo. And he was like, I can't play with Timbo. I said, Timbo's the only person you could play with. He's the only one that's available right now that you can win the Buddha with. And that year, the first tournament they played in was the Graveyard Tournament. They lost to Taiwan and Kadeem in the finals. And I thought they were going to break up, and they didn't. and they played in the Buddha and they won. That was Los's first Buddha victory.
Man. Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Timbo and Pito.
Yeah.
Pito will give me the credit. He will admit that I was on the phone with him when I told him to hit up Timbo and to connect. But they didn't win the Buddha. They lost in the finals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were both compromised. Not to take anything away, but they were both definitely compromised by the finals. It happened to I believe Arctic too. It's tough. It's tough. A tournament like the Buddha, you're going through so many games, game after game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's definitely tough.
Yeah. What are the teams that you put together?
Did you want to know more? Okay, so I put together a whole team called Team Handball Access, right? When we won East Coast Battle 3.
Where's the belt at? The puppeteer? Where's the?
You know what I mean? Like this.
Where's the belt? I don't see the belt.
The belt is over there
somewhere.
Yeah.
Don't do that. We know he's got the belt.
I assisted with the connection of Raul and Purdy. They kind of did it themselves, but I was an assistant.
You was around.
They got a Buddha MVP.
Yes, I was the bridge between Raul and Lefty Kevin the year they won China's Spino tournament.
I remember that.
Yeah. I remember that. I will admit, I told Raul I don't think it was going to work. And he was like, but I like playing with lefties. And I was like, I'll reach out to Kevin. And I connected them. So that was,
you did this. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I got my hands in places, man. I'm not terrible at seeing.
You bypassed the question I asked. Did you team up Paulie and Miggs? You did that?
I did not.
That worked.
It works. It works. Paulie's playing great ball, right? Yaguala is Yaguala.
Paulie is the most improved player at this point right now. And that's saying something because Paulie is always a contender, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's always a contender to at the very least make semis, if not finals. But he is playing on another level right now. It's good to see.
Yeah. I agree with that. Not at my level, but he's playing definitely at a level above what he was playing before. So I'll give him that. Dang. No, I'm kidding. Paulie's playing well, very well. I'm a fan of Paulie's game. We go back and forth. There's a lot of, competition between me and him, being two lefties. There's always a lot of competitions with lefty. But no, I'm a fan of Paulie's game, and he's playing phenomenal right now. It's nice to see.
Well, we're going to end off with you. Well, first, I want to give you your flowers.
Oh, thank you.
Well deserved. You are playing amazing this year once again. And I hope to see the Guerrilla Assassins perform in Ireland at the Worlds, at the Buddha, in Florida, in Philly, wherever it is. I hope to see it at least 2 more times.
2 more?
And to see if it was a fluke or not. But yeah, flowers well deserved. Your son is playing amazing. Just keep up the good work. Keep being a great player, a great ambassador for handball, respectable guy, family man, working man. You're doing good out there, man. Coach is proud.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir. What was the last question? You said you had one last question.
No, I said I was just giving you your flowers, bro. You don't listen? Oh, he froze? Uh-oh. He froze.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you froze too. What's going on?
I did. I still hear you back.
I see you back. All right, well, we're going to end this interview. Maybe his phone died, but Carlos, thank you for joining. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you later.
Peace.